Yes, please do.
All right, good morning, everyone. I see I've got the wrong date there, the 22nd. It means I was just reviewing my presentation yesterday. It should read the 23rd. Apologies for that. Thank you very much for your attendance. My name is Eileen, and I basically run the education and training at SSA South Africa. And the workshop this morning is to try and simplify the registration process and here and there highlight other areas that I think are important for, for the coaches. Okay, the very first thing that I would like to emphasize is, unfortunately, when we talk about registration and we talk about CPD points and we talk about development of coaches, people sort of think that it's only swimming coaches or people that coach swimming that need to make sure that they're aligned. That is not the case. Under Swimming South Africa, we've got 5 disciplines. Okay, so it's swimming, water polo, diving, artistic swimming, and obviously open water swimming. So our discussion this morning encompasses all the coaches that are coaching the different areas that I've just highlighted. Not only swimming, but water polo, artistic swimming, and all the others. The coaches would be expected to be compliant and to meet all registration requirements. Okay, this on the screen now, you can see what I've got there. And I thought this is ideal because I think when we talk about professionals or somebody that is doing a professional job, we tend to assume that it's a man in a suit holding a briefcase and looking really, really spectacular and prim and proper. Coaches, unfortunately, it's not like that. You guys wear your second skin, you wear your tracksuits, you wear your short pants, but that doesn't make you less of professionals. And why this is important for me is whenever I get in contact with different coaches and you ask, what are you doing? And then somebody would respond and say, I'm just a coach. And that for me, it's a problem. When you say, I'm just a coach, it means you are undermining, you are devaluing what you are doing, and I think it's very important for coaches to understand that what you're doing is very important. It's a profession, and it's a profession that is obviously not common in our country, okay, because in terms of qualifications, not a lot of people are qualified coaches and, etc. So the job that you are doing, whether you are coaching swimming or water polo, or any other sport for that matter, it is important and you need to regard yourself as professionals. And professionals are not just identified by wearing a suit and a tie. People do different jobs and you obviously dress, to suit the type of job that you are doing. Okay, I've got there a definition which I got from Mr. Google. Okay, so a professional is an individual who earns money by performing a specialized task or activity. And I've highlighted that because you guys are performing a specialized task or a specialized, activity. It's not Tom, Dick, and Harry that can coach swimming or teach swimming or coach water polo, artistic swimming. You have the knowledge or you have gained the knowledge to be able to, to do that. Professionals typically undertake significant education and training to build professional skills. Some of you have got degrees, some of you have got diplomas, some of you have got certificates, but whatever it is, you've got a certain level of qualification and you've got a certain level of knowledge that has enabled you to be called a coach. A professional requires competence and extensive industry knowledge, okay? You've got to know what you are doing. You cannot say, I'm a coach, I'm a high-level coach, but when you are there on pool deck, it looks like you don't know what you're doing. So it is important read, be out there, communicate with people, research, and etc., so that you continuously gain knowledge regarding the profession that you are in. The term also describes the standards of education and training that prepare members of the profession with the particular knowledge and skills necessary to perform their specific role within that profession. Okay, I'd like you to think about this. Do you regard yourself as a professional, and do you actually identify with some of the important information that is within the definition of a professional? And I am sure you are, because you'd not have been in this workshop if you did not regard yourself as as a professional coach. Okay. Education and development. Why is it important for coaches to develop themselves? I think I've already alluded to that earlier on, and this slide basically just summarizes what I indicated earlier on. You are professionals. It is important for you to have your continuous professional development points. You should be involved in a process where you develop, you empower, you grow, you share, you mentor, and more importantly, professionals belong to a certain organization. So there is an element of membership there, and this is not starting with swimming or with being a swim coach or being a water polo coach. It's everywhere. It's international. It's available in our country. We've got SAICA, which is the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. So chartered accountants have got to register with their professional body. We've got the Engineering Council of South Africans, which is obviously the ECSA or EXA. And again, engineers do or are expected to comply with CPD points or CPD requirements so that they keep updated and they're obviously in line with what their profession requires. Okay, I just want to dwell a bit on continuous professional development. I know when this term was now becoming a phenomenon within our profession, and everywhere people were talking about it, within our aquatics community, a lot of negative comments came through. People would say, yeah, it's a way for Senior South Africa to squander our monies, and why do we need this? And etc., etc. But if you are a true professional, you would have done some research, you'd have gone out of your way to get more information, and you'd have realized that this is not just a Swimming South Africa, concept. It is across all sporting codes. It is across all professions. It is not just in South Africa. It is an international thing. So it's a way of keeping professionals updated and obviously in touch with what they are doing. Okay, if I can have the opportunity to ask some of you, why do you think continuous professional development is important? I mean, I've highlighted some of the issues, but if we can hear from 1-2 people why you think it's important, or even how it has helped you or benefited you within your profession. Anyone? Cheryl, you want to just control that? Thank you. Anne-Marie?
Yeah, Anne-Marie, you've raised your hand. You're welcome to unmute yourself and share your thoughts.
Sorry, no, Cheryl, the sound keeps going, so we can't hear exactly what she's saying. It's just a little bit louder so we can hear.
Okay.
Right, okay. My sound appears to be fine, but yeah, thank you.
Okay, what I've done is I've just increased my volume, and then I'll also try and speak into my computer. Okay, thanks for that. Am I sounding better?
Sounds good to me.
Yes, you are sounding better.
Am I sounding better? All right, thank you. Okay, I've just posed a question, and I'd like anyone to rather put up their either put up their hands, or you can even write in the chat. Why do you think continuous professional development is important? Or alternatively, what has it done for you in the past? How have you improved yourself as a coach in terms of attending workshops, or even presenting workshops. Anyone that wants to respond? I see Moira's hand is up. Moira, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, from my point of view, I found it very interesting to get some background to the Learn to Swim program. We then were able to move on. I am an artistic swimming coach, so just as my background. But I found it very interesting to get background to the Learn to Swim coach. I've also found in attending other swimming development courses that I have been able to contribute information on streamlining that we use a lot of in the water in order to be able to float upside down. So hopefully I've learned from the swimming coaches, and I've also been able to contribute. And I've also attended several international courses, which this whole CPD points has made me aware of. And I've found I've grown a lot as a coach and as a mentor to my students by doing that. Thanks, Eileen, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Moira. Thank you very much. I think it's Chandra. Please unmute yourself and you can then comment.
Hi, Eileen. I just wanted to say, I think CPD points are important because as coaches or as teachers or the people we're influencing, we as people teaching need to continuously improve ourselves. So by putting more tools in our toolboxes, for instance, we can expand our reach and I don't know, provide more opportunities, more different aspects of teaching something. So we learn a lot.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Chandra. Thanks for that input. Anyone else? Last comment? Anyone else that wants to say something regarding how they've, sort of benefited, or if you think it's a waste of time, I suppose you can say so. Carissa, unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hello, how are you?
Right yourself.
Good, thank you. I think there's always research that's being developed, and there's better understanding now regarding, for example, how to teach Learn to Swim to children that is on the spectrum. And I think as research develops and there's new information available to obviously develop yourself and attend workshops on those topics, you develop a better understanding yourself as a coach on how to deal with a swimmer who is on the spectrum. And this obviously just helps you be a better coach. And I think that's why it's important. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that input. I'll take the last comment. Sean, please go ahead.
So one thing I wanted to ask was, why is it with CPD points, we can only earn the CPD points if they are SSA registered? Main reason being is because I'm currently studying at ETA College, which is Exercise Teachers Academy. And we constantly are doing courses to develop an understanding of the human body and physical education. And yet those CPD points do not count towards the Learn to Swim.
All right, I was hoping you were going to say, yes, it's done me a lot of good, but it's fine. Your question is noted. If you don't mind, can I answer that a bit later? Okay.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. Okay, so on the slide there that I've got, I've obviously mentioned a few things, and I think the input that we got from Chandra and other people has sort of touched on some of the areas that are here. So it's to motivate you, is to learn more, is to know more, is to be an expert in your area. And learning, you guys know, we don't stop, we can't stop learning, so it is important to be part of the continuous professional development pathway, and that is to develop you and make you better at what you are, what you are doing as a coach. Okay, so there is no doubt that continuous professional development plays an important role in any professional situation. Okay, I just want to highlight a few things. It is the coach's responsibility to ensure that they've got the required number of CPD points annually. Okay, I know when we revise or review this, there are organizations that require CPD points after 2 years. Some require, I think, in the SACE, the teaching profession, it's only after 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, and etc. But the bottom line is all professional institutions are actually embarking on this CPD points. And we felt it's probably better to do it annually, so that people can always sort of, remember. If it's done on a 3-year basis or 5-year basis, then people would sort of forget about it. And then when the 5 years comes, then people haven't got, enough points. Okay, I also just want to highlight that we've got a new CPD table, which I will discuss at the end, and I have shared it with Cheryl. I'm sure she will share it with, with all the members. Please note, it will be from 2024 to 2028, but it doesn't change your registration now. Okay, so whatever you've got, you are going to use. And in fact, the points haven't changed. The areas haven't changed. It's sort of more simplified and aligned so that it makes more sense. So don't panic. Not much has actually changed. We have put emphasis on mentoring because we have realized that our senior coach and our high-level coach, as much as they do a brilliant job, there isn't enough shared with the junior coaches. So there's more weight put on mentoring, or more points would be allocated for mentoring. And if you are a senior coach, then it is important to actually take 1-2 coaches and mentor them, and be aware that you will get points for this. May I also just emphasize that there is a mentor sheet. Cheryl, I'll just remind me, I'll share that with you as well. Please, you need to complete that as well. So you cannot send emails and say, well, I've mentored 25 people, or whatever the case might be. There's a mentor sheet that must be completed, and the candidate that you are mentoring has got a section to complete as well, so that it's obviously done on board, or the process is a transparent process. Please also know that points are valid for 4 years. As much as they can be carried over, you cannot carry points over a period of more than 4 years. Okay, so if you did workshops in 2022 and you haven't used the points, just make sure that by next year or next financial year, you use them. So your points are valid for 4 years and can be carried over a period of 4 years. I would also just like to emphasize that there is no point in doing the long-term participant development workshop more than once. If you've done that workshop, there is no need to do it again. And in fact, for me, then it raises some concerns. Are you attending the workshops just for points, or you're attending the workshops to develop yourself and empower yourself? I know there's people that have said that say, oh, I've attended this more than twice. There is no need to attend more than twice, unless if the long-term participant development model has been reviewed and there are certain changes or there are certain additions that you need to be aware of. And if that is the case, then we will obviously communicate that from the Federation, and we'll certainly communicate that with Cheryl. It's the child protection as well, same. People sit on the child protection for more than 3-4 times. I honestly don't see the point, unless, like I said, your drive is just to get points and it's not about growth and development. Okay. If you've used certain points to register, then those points must be redeemed. You cannot try and use those points again. If you use points to register, you cannot use them again. And I am glad that Cheryl, earlier on when we started, was reiterating some of the important points regarding the kettlebell portal that you guys are using to capture your CPD points, or that is used to capture your CPD points. And on that portal, obviously, whatever you've used would have been redeemed, but you'd still have it in the system so that you can track, how you've been doing. Okay. I don't know if there's questions. I am going to move on to the next slide. Okay, so I will answer Sean's question here regarding workshops that are just recognized by SSA. Okay, workshops which are obviously for you guys to get your CPD points. It is important that you verify that the workshop that you are attending is SSA accredited. Okay, but can I also emphasize that on the CPD table, which Cheryl has got and will share with you, there is a section where you can get points from workshops that are not presented or that have not been accredited by SSA. So there's a section on external workshops, which basically means other workshops that you would have set on or shown, or other ways of growth and development that you would have gone through, and your points would then be recognized under other workshops. Okay, so I can't remember the total number of points. I think it's 4. I might be wrong, but there is a section where you can actually use CPD points, or you can use workshops from other institutions. Okay, but there's obviously SSA workshops that are sport specific or coach specific, that would be relevant for you as a swimming coach, or that would be relevant for a water polo swimming coach or artistic swimming coach, and those are also equally important. So how we've designed the system is to ensure that you have an overall understanding of whatever else that is happening within the coaching space, but it is also important to empower yourself regarding the space that you are occupying, either as a swimming coach or as a water polo coach or any other discipline within aquatics. Okay, Sean, I see your hand is up. Please go ahead. I'm listening.
What's the process to get those like 4 CPD points from the other courses that we've done?
Yeah, okay. I was going to explain that, but that is fine. Thank you. Okay, so basically, if you've got a workshop that you've done somewhere else, you are going to then be expected to have evidence of attendance. Okay, and for us, evidence of attendance is your CPD certificate. Some affiliates would give, I know Cheryl definitely would give you an attendance certificate, and it will have an order number, because ASCA does get order numbers from SSA, and then it will highlight the workshop, and then obviously the number of CPD points. That will be the format of our certificates, or certificates that come from Swimming South Africa or any of our provinces or districts. It will be in that format. If it's run by somebody else or some other training organization, then it will indicate that you said, Sean, you said on this workshop on this date, and this is, the topic. Might not have the CPD numbers or the number of CPD points, but then the number of CPD points, you will find them within our CPD table where there is an allocation for external workshops. I don't know if I've answered you there.
No, you have. Thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so like I've indicated, if it's an SSA accredited workshop, then there will be an order number, and the order number is allocated by Swimming South Africa. Any workshop that you sit on, you need to ensure that you get evidence of attendance. And like I've already indicated, it could be a certificate, it could be a copy of the register and your name is highlighted there, or it could be some a letter on letterheads to say, Sean attended this workshop and this is how long it took, and etc. Okay, so always important to have evidence. Okay, I am reiterating this, have your own records, but like I've indicated already, kettlebell makes your lives easier because everything would be captured there. Okay, I am moving on to the requirements or registration requirements. I don't know if there's any questions before I move on to the next slide. Any questions regarding CPD points and how you can claim for them and etc. Okay, so from an SSA point of view, every province and some of the districts, they have an education and training coordinator. If it does happen that you are not sure of a workshop or whether you get points for a workshop, please don't hesitate, ask your education and training coordinator. If it's an SSA workshop, it will definitely have an order number and CPD points allocated. If it's not an SSA workshop, but you want to verify and make sure that you are on track, please ask your coordinators. It is not a problem to drop me an email again. If you are not sure, then I can check it on, on our system. Always important to ask before than after, because then after, people are usually very angry. They need points to register, and they give you a terrible attitude because they are desperate for points. So to ensure that you are not in that situation, uncomfortable situation, rather, ask beforehand. Can I also just emphasize that on the CPD table, there are points also allocated to community work. Community work could either be involved in mass participation programs. A lot of you have got CSI projects. You have a day or whatever during Water Week or during the December holidays or during the June holidays. And you either go into a school and do community work, or you are involved in projects, either some school in Alexander or a disadvantaged school in your area, or whatever the case might be, whichever way you look at it. It's important that you notify your district or your province so that they're aware of it, so that they can be able to allocate CPD points for you. And an allocation there will be made if you are not charging anything. If you are charging, then obviously as an entrepreneur, you are doing that within your own right to earn extra money. That is fine, and nobody has a problem with that. But community work will be if you are using your own instructors and you are giving back to a community one way or the other, and you are not charging. Then you can claim those points as community work points. Or you are teaching water polo in some school, and this is outside your working hours or outside you earning an income. But like I said, to ensure that everything is done above board and there is transparency, you need to speak to your province or your district and make them aware of what you are doing, and then they can then, all right, we are aware, and at the end of the day, they can then approve and write you a formal letter to say, yes, Sean did this at this school on this date for so many hours. He was with instructor so-and-so, because instructor so-and-so would also deserve to get a CPD points, and we will allocate them CPD points from, community work. Okay, I hope that is clear. Christine, I see your hand is up. I am listening.
Hi, Eileen. Just a question. We presented a trout swim course in our province, and it was told to the candidates that they weren't allowed, CPD points would not be provided. So I just want to clarify, isn't that part of education and training as well, to you know, for a learn to swim teacher?
Okay, that is a good point, Christina. Yeah, you are actually making me now think very hard. Yeah, we usually don't allocate points for doing a course. But in retrospect, I'm just thinking that if somebody has got our Learn to Swim certificate and they go and do swim dynamics, which is that STDI 1, which is the equivalence of Learn to Swim, then we would take that as extra knowledge and we do allocate CPD points for that. And it's actually quite funny that I personally have never thought of it between your Learn to Swim and your taught swim, because the people that do the taught swim would then have the Learn to Swim. But remember, why we have not allocated it is that is obviously a highly specialized skill on its own, and it's training that is, if you may allow me to say, different from, you know, the Learn to Swim. So I think that is precisely why we don't allocate CPD points for that. But if you've got somebody who's got Learn to Swim and they go and do a similar course somewhere else, then we will allocate points for that. Or even further, if somebody has got a taught swim and they go and do the baby swimming course with INET or with even swim dynamics for that matter, then we will allocate them CPD points because it's up and above what they have, and that is just to allow them to grow further and to understand things even better. I hope I've answered you. So correct, we do not allocate CPD points for people that have learned to swim and they go and do a short swim course.
I just think that that needs to be considered. I mean, if I think about it, I've learned so much on a taught swim that I can actually implement on Learn to Swim after having that course. So I think maybe it's something to actually look at because it is prior learning. Even though they will not maybe teach it, but they obviously have learned different skills that they can even apply to their Learn to Swim education. But just the thought on that. Thank you so much.
Noted, Christina. Thank you very much. Any other questions before I move on to registration?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, registration requirements. Yeah, okay, I suppose this is what's important for a lot of the coaches. Cheryl said to me, you must include the slide. Okay, so I am hoping none of you, the 90 people that are seated here, are not trying to buy points somewhere. I was laughing with Dean last week. He came and he always comes to me to discuss his CPD points. And I'm like, well, I hope you've got enough. And he's like, oh, no, I've got too many points, Eileen. I can even sell some of the points. Okay, so CPD points are not on sale. They cannot be sold. But at the end of the day, if you've got more than enough, then you don't stress, you don't panic, because clearly there is a planning from your side, and you ensure that every year you've got the required number of points. Okay, the first thing that is very important is a valid first aid certificate. Okay, now I need to just say that some of you are probably aware of the challenges that we had 2 years ago with first aid. If you can remember, our requirement was to do a first aid certificate with a company that is registered with the Department of Labor, or any of the EQTC organizations or CITES, so to say. Okay, and then there were changes because they wanted the first aid now to be a 3-day course, and there were cost implications there, and there were so many challenges. So after those challenges, there was never any resolution to date as to what is happening. So not much has changed with this. We will stick with what we've been doing in the past. Just make sure that it is SSA accredited, or the company that you're doing your first aid with, it's at least registered with the Department of Labor until further notice. I actually have a meeting with a lady that specializes with first aid and knows all the ins and outs on the 2nd of May. So hopefully on the 2nd of May, I'll be able to provide a better directive there. But that doesn't mean you guys must wait for me. Just, just stick with what you've been doing all along. And if there are any major changes, I can guarantee you it's not going to be for this registration. It will possibly be for the 2025, 2026 registration requirements. Okay, so normally your first aid is valid for 3 years. Okay, although now of lately there are just so many variations. There's first aid certificates that are now combined with CPR and etc. So we try and sort of fit in with those with those changes. Okay, so usually your first aid is valid for 3 years. Into your 2nd year, your first aid must be accompanied by the latest CPR. And some of you might wonder why. Because CPR and first aid, if you don't experience any occurrences within your space as a coach, you tend to forget some of the things. And then suddenly something happens. You've done the first aid course, but you can't seem to remember what to do. And also because there's always latest developments and changes and updates and etc. So to make sure that you are on board, it is important to actually do a CPR, okay, into the 2nd year of your first aid certificate. CPR, can I just indicate that if you renew it into the 2nd year and the 3rd year, you will get 2 CPD points. We do not allocate points for the first aid, but points will be allocated or are allocated for CPR when you do it into the 2nd year of your first aid and into the 3rd year of your certificate, which is obviously the final year of your first aid certificate. There's also this variation, which is quite common, first aid included within, CPR included within the first aid, and it usually says CPR for 2 years, okay? Which means if you've done this first aid, then it means for the next 3 years, you are not going to bother with first aid or CPR. Note that you will get the 2 points only into the 2nd year, okay? Only into the 2nd year. If your CPR is valid for 2 years, that is fine. You can submit it again into the 3rd year of your first aid, but you will not get CPD points. So CPD points for CPR can only be claimed once, and that will be 2 CPD points. Okay, I hope that is clear. Then the next thing that is important is your police clearance. Okay, if you can remember, we've always been okay with name clearance. And when I say we, I mean in South Africa, the Federation, the executive has approved that we can get name clearances. Name clearances, if you can remember, it is done via your ID number. Okay, there is no fingerprinting, biometrics taken there. But now with the new SASCOC safeguarding policy, they are making it compulsory that people must have a police clearance. In my head, I am thinking we are going to have to make this to be effective from 2025, 2026, because we haven't given you guys enough time or warning time that you need a full police clearance. Some of you are already anyway doing a full police clearance, which is also acceptable, you know, for our registration. But those of you that have or are doing name clearances, for now you are okay until further notice. So in terms of the safeguarding requirements, we are expected to do a police clearance. We are expected to go through, I think it's a sexual offences a list, if I'm not mistaken, but all that will be clarified at a later stage. It has been submitted to the SSA executive to look at and obviously complying with SASCOC requirements. Chances are, like I said, the requirement will be changed for not this coming registration season, but 2025, 2026, so that you guys have got enough time. A lot of the professions, like those of you that are school teachers, you are required to have a police clearance. So may I reiterate that you don't now have to go and do another one. You can use the same police clearance as long as it's still valid for another 6 months, because police clearances, coaches, are valid for a year. And again, you might think, why is this? This sounds silly. It's because a lot happens in a year, actually. You know, a lot happens in a year. So they are valid for a year. And as a federation, if it's been running for 6 months, but you've got another 6 months for it to run, it's still acceptable. Okay, I hope that is clear. So you will need your police clearance or name clearance. Can I just also reiterate that name clearances, if your name clearance comes back and it is flagged, and by flagged, I mean there are certain things there that are not good or should not be there, okay, then your province or your district will ask you to go and get a full police clearance, okay? And I think the documentation as to what is not allowed by SSA, it's out there. It is on our website as well. But things like sexual harassment and child pornography and all those things that are safeguarding matters or safeguarding concerns are a no-no for any coach, not just aquatics, but any other sporting coach would not accept a police clearance of that nature. And that is why before you sit on any of the SSA courses, we do require that you do a police clearance, so that if it's flagged, then we are able to tell you timelessly that unfortunately you cannot do the course. If it's something that happened 10 years ago, then you clearly can apply for, what is that term? I always forget this term. Okay, but you can apply that your name is clear today. Okay, and that you've got to do, you know, it's a separate process. Okay, Christina, your hand is up, or is it your old hand?
No, it's my new hand. Sorry.
Ah, it's a new hand. Okay, please go ahead.
Sorry. What's really I'm very worried is let me just clarify. I just want to know that I've heard correctly. Safeguarding. Do we need safeguarding for registration this year, or will it apply with the full police clearance as of next year? What I missed somewhere there.
Okay, I got you. I actually was gonna just address that because it is important. Okay, okay, I've already indicated there that, CPD points are according to your coaching level. Okay, so there's level 2 coaches, level 3, there's level 4 coaches. And unfortunately, as you go up the level, the number of CPD points required there are more. like I indicated earlier on, it's because we are expecting you to be mentoring quite a lot, to be sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and your skills with junior coaches. And I hope this does not discourage people from wanting to be at the highest level of the coaching pathway. Okay, and sometimes I get sad when high level coaches say, no, I want to remain being a level 1 coach because I don't have time for CPD points. And that cannot be coming from somebody who is a professional. Okay, so if on pool deck you've got 2, 3 young coaches that you are mentoring and showing the skills, and you are mentoring, and that by that you will earn CPD points. Okay, and in actual fact, if you are a level 3 or level 4 coach, and this is just my personal opinion, you should be running workshops. You should not be sitting on workshops for LTPD or child protection. You should be running high-level workshops, and in that way, earning your points from running workshops and mentoring junior coaches. Okay, so when high-level coaches speak like that, I don't personalize it, but I obviously just become sad that as a professional, for me, you are not yet at that at that level. Okay, then the next thing, when you've made sure that you've got all those things, then you need to complete your capitation form. And I'm sure you have seen a capitation form. I've got an example. I could not put it on the slide presentation because it's too big, but if we do have time, I'll show it to you at the end. Please note, when you complete your capitation form and you are a learn to swim instructor and you are a coach, you are a level 4 coach, and you active in both areas, then you need to tick both of them. But your registration would obviously be at your highest level, and your CPD requirements would be at the highest level as well, not double. Okay, so if you are a level 1 coach, for example, or let me just say level 2. You're a level 2 coach, and I think it's 15 points for a level 2. So you're a level 2 coach and you are an LTS instructor as well. And you do actually or are still active in both areas. As much as you are a level 2 coach, you still do teach learn to swim. Learn to swim is 12 points and coach level 2 coach is 15 points. You are not required, or you will not be required to provide 27 points. You will provide points at your highest qualification, which will be a level 2 coach. So you will be required to provide 15 points. Okay, I hope that is clear. And obviously then you make your payment. Are there any questions so far, Christina? I haven't forgotten about safeguarding. Are there any questions?
Lee, just a question in the chat. What are the requirements for a level 1 coach to upgrade to a level 2 and a level 2 to upgrade to a level 3? Is there a table of this?
Yeah, I actually was expecting that question, but I was hoping it will not come up. Yeah, but it has come up. Okay, so we a few years ago we did have a system for upgrades, and basically that emanated from coaches that had been level 1 coaches for a while, and they obviously want to grow and develop and climb up the pathway. And that is simply because SSA at this point we do not have a level 2 coaching course, but we are working on it. Actually, we do have somebody that is busy writing it, and in fact we have a meeting with this person with Dean next week to just see how far they are. So I'm hoping that in don't know, let me not put time frames, but we will have a level 2 very soon. And you'll see my very last end a slide where I've written help. It's one of our requests out there. If there are people that can help in those areas, that would be appreciated, because it is a struggle. It is a struggle. Okay, so
Just
then
another
we,
question, Eileen. Can we get the fees for registration, or will this be email? That's from Lizandre. To my knowledge, you need to get this from your provincial affiliate, as all provinces have a
Yeah.
different fee. Is this correct?
Yeah, I will just allude on that just now as well. Sorry, I was just trying to answer the upgrade question. So then quite a lot of coaches applied for that when, you know, when it was opened up. And as we were going through the upgrades, we realized that there were certain loopholes that obviously human beings would take advantage of. For example, I'm coaching whoever, and whoever is now probably gonna go to competitions. Is it that to Olympics? Is that I'm trying to recall a name here. Is it Thompson? Thompson, I forgot the girl's name. Okay, so then she was coached by Cheryl for the past 3 years, and then now she's coached by Eileen, and she's now, you know, doing very well. And then I now claim as Eileen that I need to be a level 4 coach because I've got this Thompson girl that, you know, is gonna qualify for, you know, for Olympics. So there were just those loopholes where coaches were making claims, and when we asked for the TM records of the club, then there wouldn't be that information coming forward. And so there'll be one isolated swimmer that is suddenly doing well, and maybe it's not originally your swimmer. You've had that swimmer for 1-2 years, and you know, so there were challenges. And when we sat down with Dean and Graham, we realized that the system needs to be reviewed and revised. So we are in the process of doing that with Dean, and we will obviously just circulate that, you know, as soon as it is available, and you guys can then apply for, you know, for upgrades after making sure that you actually meet the criteria or you meet the requirements that would be stipulated. Okay, the fees, I do not know about the fees, but I know they are discussed at executive level, and a decision is made, and there will be an email that goes out to provinces to say, these are SSA fees, and then the provinces will then send out their fees. Okay, they do mark up a bit for reasons that we discussed yesterday with Cheryl, that there's admin and na. And I cannot, unfortunately, on this platform say it's so much. Okay, might probably know the SSA fees, but that is not necessarily what the provinces are going to charge. Okay, so I'm sure that information will go out very soon. Okay, I think before I go on to who facilitates, I just wanna deal with Christina's question on safeguarding. Yes, communication went out last year in Cheryl. I will send you the circulation or the circular, which stipulated that safeguarding is compulsory for this registration, 2024-2025 registration. Okay, and that is why, as a federation, we have embarked on running safeguarding awareness workshops free of charge for the members. If you were not aware of it, or you are not aware of it, I do apologize. But remember, we directly communicate with affiliates and provinces, and they will then disseminate the information to the district and to all of you. So if what I'm saying you've never heard about it, please don't be upset with me. Okay, again, the decision was to make sure that we are aligned with SASCOC requirements. And in fact, some of you that are involved at a higher, at a competitive level, you will be aware that at least when they travel internationally, they've got to have done safeguarding. Coaches, when they travel with teams, they've got to have done safeguarding, and obviously drug-free sport as well. So those are the two things that are quite important and are a must for you to do. With drug-free sport or WADA or SAIDS, they fortunately have their courses online. You guys can go online and do it, and we do allocate CPD points for that as well. You will automatically get a certificate from them. When you produce that certificate to your province, your district, they will know how many points to allocate for that. Okay, so safeguarding, there's 2 workshops. At the moment, what we've been running is an awareness workshop, safeguarding awareness workshop. It's unfortunately a face-to-face workshop. Find the information from your province, from your district. We had a meeting with the safeguarding team last week, and we asked that they continue to run the safeguarding awareness workshops, which will be at a cost, unfortunately, because last year when we started them, we were doing them for free. So going forward, if you want to do or you have to do the awareness workshop, it will be at a cost, but they are not expensive. It's like 50 rand. Okay, so I am hoping that those of you that have not done the workshop will be able to, to do it. Okay, so when you register now, you must have done a safeguarding awareness workshop, and you either should have received a certificate from your province or from your, from your district. Then can I also just indicate that for the 2025-2026, there will be another requirement, and I am just making you aware now. Please do not forget, your club or your swim school by 2025-2026 registration should have or must have trained 2 safeguarding officers. So according to our safeguarding policy and according to SASCOC requirements, every club and every swim school must have 2 safeguarding officers, preferably a male and a female, preferably a parent, but somebody that is not very involved in the coaching and the running of the club. And those 2 people will be responsible for safeguarding matters. So if there's any safeguarding matters within your club or your swim school, those issues will be raised with those 2 people. And a male and a female, preferably, so that it's comfortable for the girls to go to the female and the boys to go to the male safeguarding officer. Okay, training of the safeguarding officers will commence on the 1st of July of this year. Okay, so that's giving you enough time to ensure that you nominate the ideal person for your club. Okay, the person that probably is always, concerned about the livelihood of the swimmers, safeguarding matters, maybe has got some experience in psychology, or even if they don't, but somebody that you think will be in a position to handle safeguarding matters confidentially and without any prejudice of any sort. Okay, so this is just to make you think about it, but all this you will be discussed with you on the awareness program. So anything else that you would want to know, okay, you can then discuss it with the person that will be facilitating the safeguarding workshop within your province or within your district.
Dean, sorry, just to jump in, we are running over time, so if we could maybe look at wrapping up.
Yeah, okay, cool. Christina, do you want to maybe just speak to me offline there? Christina was with me about, 3 weeks ago, and Christina, why didn't you ask me all these questions? Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so who facilitates? I think I have just slightly alluded to this. And guys, all of you, please come forward. If you want to facilitate courses, you want to run workshops, you are passionate about certain skills or certain areas that you think you are okay to share and impart your knowledge, please speak to your district, speak to your province. And if you're not getting any joy out of that, you can actually speak to me directly. Okay, so any of you guys that have been around for a long time, you can help in that area. Okay, the next slide, I just thought I actually wanted to present this in a graph, but I was like just in a hurry. I just wanted to just share with you our stats, and this is generally from 2015 to 2024 in terms of the number of coaches. The first number is obviously the males, and then the second number is the females. So whites, you can see the number, black, you can see. And I just also want to say, in the spaces that you occupy, identify people of color that you think have got the passion or they've got something special, you know, that we can take further and develop further. In aquatics, there's space for everyone, but more importantly, there's space in the previously disadvantaged areas where kids drown on a daily basis, and we do need to increase our capacity and get more people to help in those, you know, in those areas. We always send circulars and information to go out to, you know, to members. And I know, Cheryl, I always say I will share with you and put you on my mailing list, but for some other reason, I always forget. So what I'll do is I will ask Sakile to put you on you on her mailing list, so that if there's any information that goes out, you are able to, you know, to get it and you can disseminate it as well, so that at least if people don't get information via their district and provinces, they can at least get it, you know, from you. Okay, so this is just for interest, you know, to show that there's a lot of work that we, you know, we need to, you know, to do. Okay, and without politicizing this, we cannot have a majority of people being black, and we have 18 females that can coach, you know, aquatics. Also, and out there, it would be swimming. Okay, health. It's my last slide. Material development across all disciplines. We need people. You are interested in this, or you think you can help with this, please speak to me directly. And what I mean by material development is, you know, courses, writing extra material, writing specific information. You know what? At that registration requirement slide, I just remembered, don't forget your code of conduct. I know a lot of other affiliates have made members to indicate that they've read the safeguarding policy, and to sign that they've read the safeguarding policy, because there's a lot of safeguarding matters that are happening out there and that are actually quite scary. So please do take time to look at the safeguarding policy, look at your roles and responsibilities as a coach, so that you protect yourself. You don't find yourself in a situation where you are compromised. And that is the purpose of, you know, us ensuring that you've read the safeguarding policy and you understand what it says. Is to protect our coaches, is to protect you guys. So please look at the code of conduct. Okay. All right. Workshops, we need help for code-specific workshops, generic workshops, any other areas, whether it's mental health or it's land training, whatever else that you think you are good at. We need a lot of assessors and moderators. I'm sure you've heard people doing courses and cannot go on to the next level because we don't have an assessor in a certain area, and etc. And that is not good for us as a federation. And yes, we can point fingers and say, CME South Africa, but who are the assessors and moderators who must be trained to do that? You guys. So again, a humble appeal. If you are interested in these areas, you know, please come forward. Mentoring, I've already reiterated that, so I'm not going to go into that. Gender and racial equity, very, very important. Check your staff. Is there a female there that you think, you know, is ready to go to the next level, and try and groom and empower, you know, that person. All right, the last slide, Cheryl, I don't think it will be clear, but it's actually a breakdown of the new CPD table, which I've already indicated that Cheryl has got, and she will, you know, share with you. But it's divided basically into 4 or 5 groups. Okay, there's mandatory workshops, and that is Group A. Okay, and those are things that you have to do, or workshops that you have to do. Community workshops, which is Group B, community work, which is Group B. I've already explained that, and that is obviously work-based activities that you can do in between what you are doing. And then there's additional workshops, which is obviously your Group C and D. Okay, C is service-based activities, and that is obviously officiating at galas and being a team manager and etc. Group D is obviously presenting papers, sharing knowledge in a formal platform, way of workshops and et cetera. Okay, and then Group E is your compulsory activities, and at this point in time, we have, first aid CPR. It's the only one that we can allocate points for. All right, that is me. I am done. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Cheryl, I'm not sure. Can you give us like 5 minutes?
Yes, we can do 5 minutes. Thank you, Eileen, for sharing that. The mentor application or the mentor login form and the CPD capitation form. Once I have them from Eileen, I will email to everybody who was on the presentation. Eileen, people are asking if your slides will be shared. I'm not sure if they're relevant without the talking and the knowledge behind it. But what we do make available is this recording. So you can always go back, it'll be made available, and you can go back to the parts that you need to hear again. So we'll do that.
Cool.
Carla, you have a question.
Good afternoon. This is Carla from Elites Swimming Club in Carletonville, Gauteng. I just want to ask regarding the CPR qualification. Do you allow both Resuscitation Council qualifications and or American Heart Association? I just want to clarify that.
Okay, thank you for that, Carla. Coincidentally, the meeting that I'm having on the 2nd, that is on the agenda. Both are on the agenda. Okay, so as soon as I've had that meeting, I will obviously communicate further.
Thank you very much.
Any questions? Any other questions?
No, that's all I see in the chat. Besides many thank you. So thank you, Eileen, for your time. Sibusiso is asking, what is the requirements for being an assessor and a moderator? Again, I'll get this and I'll share that information with everybody on the group. I'm assuming there is quite a process that's from South Africa go through.
Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It was such a pleasure. Thanks, Cheryl.
Perfect. Thank you, Eileen. Always lovely having you with us. Cheers. Have a lovely afternoon.
Cheers.